What happens when a sadistic computer program made up of the personalities of 140 mass murderers escapes to the real-world future of 1999? You get the awesomely bad sci-fi chase movie Virtuosity with Denzel Washington and Russell Crowe. And it's our movie this week with special guests Joe Scola and Sean O'Rourke of Movie Dumpster.
Oh, goody, goody, here it comes.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show.
You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Oh, my God, don't stop now!
With your hosts, Brian, John, and Elaine.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show, the madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Coddington, joined by my fellow co-host and filmmaker, John Woozcroft.
Hey, Psychos Nation, this one's for you.
I'm back in a box. Oh, this is going to be fun. We're on episode 282, and this marks our first episode of what we're calling, and we're probably going to fuck the name of this month off, but it's basically our 1990s sci-fi dystopian science fiction month, where we're going to be tackling a bunch of your favorite god-awfully glorious science fiction films that all deal with kind of like post-apocalyptic visions of the future, or just like bizarre, weird
Fear of
tech.
computers.
Fear of computers. That's a good one, and maybe it's because, we're trying to hit the algorithm with the chat GPTs and shit. And it's like we had this future already mapped out for us in 1995. And since this is a special month, I don't think we've ever done a theme month aside from spooky season. But we've got some guests with us today, John, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have Dump in their name, which
They've
is
got
awesome.
Dump in their name, which that's always cool. But they are fellow movie podcasters, Joe and Sean of Movie Dumpster. Guys, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, dude.
And I want to thank
Pleasure
you
to
guys
be
for
here.
having possibly even more generic names than Brian and I.
Yeah.
Brian, John,
Joe,
Joe,
Brian,
Sean.
John, Joe. Yeah.
Yeah, it really rolls right off the tongue, that
It
one
does.
syllable word.
It does. We don't do those 2 syllables or 3 syllables. Fuck those
Well,
guys.
Brian, you're technically too. Brian.
Yeah.
Unless you call him Brian.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I got one question for you two guys,
Sure.
since you're from the other part of the state. Pats or
Shoot.
Genos?
Huh?
Pats or Genos?
Homie, we're from New Jersey, brother.
Yeah, so you might get a very different answer than you're
Oh,
expecting.
shit. I thought you guys were from
Oh.
Philly. All right.
No.
area.
We're New Jersey boys.
New
We
Jersey.
both
Oh, well, then
moved
I
to
think it's
Pennsylvania.
more than 5 hours. Yeah.
I guess here's my answer to piss everybody off. Primos.
I don't know.
Is that like a hoagie? I don't know what
Yes,
that is.
yes, it's a Primos Hoagies. It's a chain. It's not like a standalone place where it's an amazing cheesesteak, but it has good shit.
So you say hoagies instead of subs?
We say subs.
Yeah.
Subs,
You guys-
yeah. Hoagies,
Okay, well,
I guess, if you're going to Wawa.
All right, well, I'll rephrase.
Wawa. Fuck you
Jeez.
guys.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, you're in the Sheets territory.
We're
Is that
in
what it is?
Sheets land here, okay, man?
Dude, I don't discriminate.
I'm going to rephrase my question. Now,
Okay.
God.
why aren't you guys allowed to pump your own fucking gas?
Yes, please tell us this.
Oh,
I-
geez. I don't know. Tax is jobs, question
probably
mark.
taxes.
I don't know.
Jobs.
I was going to say this is the part where we just backpedal on that and just say, well, we moved out of New Jersey, so we don't know anymore.
Well, there
No,
you go.
well, I was just there today, so yeah, somebody
Yeah.
definitely pumped my gas.
Funnily
and I'll tell
enough,
you one
so was
thing.
I.
I get super impatient now, right? Because like I'm so used to pumping my own gas now that if I pull up and I fucking gotta wait, I get all pissed off and I get out and just pump it myself.
Now you know why everybody else was doing that from the out-of-state license plates.
Yes, it makes sense now. Because it's like, all right, dude, like I gotta go, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get gas, and I'm so used to just like jumping out and doing it now from
Yeah.
living in PA, you know.
Yeah, I traveled to New Jersey a couple years ago, and the first time I did, I was like, wait a minute. You guys got to do this? What the
Sir, get back in your
Sir,
car.
get back in car. But I really enjoy pumping the gas myself.
What are you gonna do? What's next? What are you gonna go to McDonald's and make your own burger?
That sounds like
Maybe
Jersey.
I will.
I would love that if they just let me in the kitchen. I could customize my own damn burger. Yeah.
Yeah, but we're not talking about burgers today. We're talking about the glorious year of 1995. right? With what arguably is, I would say, Russell Crowe's best performance ever. Ever.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
Thank you.
Puts Maximus to shame.
Oh, man. Well, listen, man. It's either this or the pure classic of Unhinged. If you've ever seen Unhinged.
It's one of his more recent movies where he's all fat and bloated and has to pay out his tax debts. You know?
Well, okay,
Dude,
okay. It's glorious.
It's fun. It's funny because I literally watched the Pope's Exorcist over the weekend.
I'm sorry.
I'm like, oh my God, dude, I was fucking dying. I was like, what is this bullshit? It was like fun because it was so stupid. There was a couple of good ideas, but like it was funny to be like, oh, there's Russell Crowe in a brand new movie, and oh, there's Denzel Washington in the fucking Equalizer 3.
Yes,
right. And then coming home and then like watching Virtuosity, I was like, holy shit! It's just bizarre that these guys are still working and like doing what they're doing. I don't know.
But you could tell that they're both like still making money, but have their star has dropped significantly.
A little bit.
Yeah, they're skating at this point.
Yeah.
But they probably neither of them need the money unless, again, they have tax debts or gambling problems or something. But I got a question for you guys because Brian, the movies we're doing we're doing Lawnmower Man, we're doing Virtuosity, Johnny Mnemonic, Hackers.
Classics.
This is 1995. This is 95 before like most people had even dial-up internet, which sucked. And it was not scary in any way, shape, or form, except for how slow it was. I really want to see Gillian Anderson's nipple, but not in this century, please.
That's a 1 week search right there for you. That takes 1 week to download that picture.
So where are these movies? My question is, where are these movies coming from? Where did this mid-90s, even before most people had internet in their home, where did the fear of this technology come from?
I think that's I think you just nailed it. It's the fear of the future, and people are like, the internet, what's that? And it's like, well, it's been around since the 80s, but now you have it in your homes. And it's like, I don't know. I guess it's just, it is that turning point for a lot of people where it's like, oh, great. Now we have computers. Now there's going to be like virtual reality machines, and there's going to be all this crazy shit where you interface with a computer and like learn stuff or like go into another dimension you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was going to say, just kind of bounce off of what Joe just said. It's like, all that tech was getting there, and like shows like Reboot always comes to mind.
Classic.
Demolition Man's another movie I always think of that kind of fits into this kind of era. Like you said, Lawnmower Man's one you're going to cover. By the way, you got to do the extended cut. Don't miss out on the extended cut.
Yeah, I watched the Cybo Man in your life.
Yes, you need Cybo Man. But just to finish that thought, I think it was just all that stuff was like really hot in the zeitgeist at the time. So like everyone was kind of thinking about it. And like Joe said, they didn't know what the hell the internet really was. A lot of these people, they just were like, what is it? Like you're going into your computer and like someone's going to kill you and you're going to die in real life? Oh my God.
It's not like you're literally going into a computer, but yeah.
I mean, I guess like this isn't anything that's new because like you look at the movie War Games with Matthew Broderick, like, and his non-internet computer, he somehow almost like launched missiles, out of to attack Russia. And was it Superman 3 where Richard Pryor somehow could control street lights because he just sat at a computer? And
that tech was there for the army and like really, it was super expensive, but like nobody had their hands on it like it was in the late 90s.
What my favorite part of this particular movie is, and this just shows me how ignorant the writers and the producers and director are about how technology works. Okay. And this is jumping way towards the end, so I'm sorry. The movie's been out since 1995. We're gonna
spoiler alerts for like a spoiler movie.
Spoiler alerts. But like when they're trying to defuse the bomb that's in like the silo, right? And you have what's her face, the smartest criminal psychologist of all time, Kelly Lynch.
That's a great word there.
Madison
what's
Carter.
Her face?
What's her face?
From Big Bang Theory.
Was she in Big Bang
that's
Theory?
it's the little girl who's from Big Bang Theory.
Okay. But I was gonna
Harley
say,
Quinn.
This is Madison Carter. She's saying to defuse a bomb, try going into the operating system and resetting the clock on a bomb.
I don't think that's how that works.
That's
also Sid's thought of everything. So
Brian, they basically pull a computer program out of a computer into a cocoon into the real world.
Listen,
this is your problem.
Listen here, man. Okay, I can suspend disbelief on that. Okay. But
It
like
is the premise of the movie, I
the
guess.
whole like, first of all, she's not a bomb, expert. She's a criminal psychologist. But she's like, just try resetting the clock. And then you've got Denzel Washington, who's just looking at, a patch panel and going, okay, input, output, put
Dude,
stick.
he pulls a fucking glow stick out of his arm
Yes.
and puts the thing on loop.
So, but
Somehow.
my
Brian.
point is,
Brian.
John,
Brian.
John.
Brian.
Yes.
You were sounding like those, like, when Homer became Poochie. Those, like, two dorks in the comic book shop. Like, is this some kind of magical harpsichord?
Well, no, we're talking about ignorance of technology, and that's 100% it. That's what I'm getting at. Is just like, no one who wrote this thing knew the fuck about how technology works.
They had inklings. Again, reboot.
Yes.
Demolition Man comes to mind. But it's like beyond that, they were, especially like the final act of this film, which I actually do like. But yeah, they really just are like, we have no idea how this is going to work out. Things happen, internet things.
Internet things.
It's it's when your audience doesn't know it either. You don't have to actually do any research.
Yeah, I mean, they have spent almost 90 minutes kind of getting you in there. And if you haven't bought into it yet, you're never going to by then anyway.
Right.
No grasp on the actual technology at the time, but we're doing all kinds of weird fucking demon seed shit.
Well, yeah, the whole premise of this movie is man becomes God and doesn't even fix
creates
that
Sid.
problem. Yeah.
The movie was made by Brett Leonard, who, as we said, directed Lawnmower Man. He
Lord
also
and Savior,
made
director of Lawnmower Man.
Yes, he made Lawnmower. He also directed a ton of music videos that all use CGI, as well as a bizarre classic that features a very young, probably post Jurassic Park Jeff Goldblum, the movie Hideaway, where Jeff Goldblum dies and somehow like comes back to life, and there's some weird like digital shit in there too. But
This guy seems like
crazy.
He picked up a Virtual Boy from Nintendo and went, can I get porn on this thing?
Probably.
Yeah.
He probably did. But the synopsis of this movie, if you've never seen Virtuosity, first of all, go fucking watch it.
Real quick. He also
yes.
did Dead Pit. He did Dead Pit as well.
Oh, shit.
Are
he
you guys
did do
familiar with
Dead
that?
Pit. Yeah.
That's what I call my toilet after a night of drinking.
So the synopsis is from, this one's from IMDb. It's from Murray Chapman. It's the Law Enforcement Technology Advancement Center, also known as LETAC, has developed SID's version 6.7, a sadistic, intelligent, dangerous virtual reality entity which is synthesized from the personalities of more than 150 serial killers. LETAC would like to train police officers by putting them in VR with SID, but they must prove the concept by using prisoners as test subjects. We're going to talk about the ethical implications of that later. One such prisoner is ex-cop Parker Barnes. When Sid manages to inject his personality into nano machine android, it appears that Barnes might be the only one who can stop him. Done.
It sounds like something in like '89. Some guy who was super high just was pitching his buddy.
Oh, this is totally a coked out fever dream pitch.
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh, dude, I'm into it though. Sign me up.
Absolutely.
I love that his name is Parker Barnes too. It reminds me of like Face Off, like Castor Troy.
Yes,
and all that.
And Pollux Troy, because you get the Roman shit there.
Yeah. Like, why can't his name be like Dave Tinkles? Hey Tinkles, this one's for you.
Yeah. Exactly. Imagine that.
Bruce Toilet, this one's for you. Yeah, but I gotta tell you this, like I love this movie. I loved it when it came out, and I watched it again, and I got total joy out of this. What about you guys?
Oh my god, dude, it was so much fun throwing this on and just chilling out and watching it, because like I remember watching this a bunch as a kid, and like I remembered so much from it. I must have watched this movie a lot, and I remembered it, and I was like, oh, that's a great flick, but like I didn't realize how much I remembered of it when I was watching it. I was like, oh shit, that's right. It's fucking awesome.
I mean, I'll echo that. I've never actually seen this before this first viewing here.
Shit.
Yeah,
But-
I will say, like the first 20, I was like, okay, I see what you guys are going for, but you're not. It wasn't really grabbing me. And then, like, as soon as the android basically comes into the picture, I'm like, okay, now the movie actually starts. And then it kind of had me hooked the rest of the go.
John, what about you?
I actually, my parents had no scruples, and then whenever they wanted to see a movie, they would just take me. And so I was sitting in the theater at 10 years old watching this movie.
Wow, you lucky dog.
I caught this on HBO, man. I didn't catch this in the theater.
So
I definitely watched this on TV with my dad.
It's beautiful 90s cheese, and it's fun to go back and watch a movie like this and be like, did they get anything right? But more importantly, what did they get horribly wrong in their predictions of the future? My biggest problem is 100 serial killers. Like, okay, some serial killers are like real cunning and shrewd, but other serial killers like are basically mental defectives. Like, how do you mix those things? Like, you can't breed a Chihuahua and a Saint Bernard,
And how does like the one dominant person that comes out, it just happens to be the one that like killed Denzel's family? Like, you have like
that's
Hitler
just
in
his
there.
motherfucking Denzel. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. That's also plot convenience, big time.
I know,
and I
but
kind
they're
of
like,
dig it.
look at that. There's Adolf Hitler and John Wayne Gacy and all these. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, Adolf. I mean, okay, did Hitler actually by his own hands kill anybody?
I mean, he
is
was a
it
cunning maniac.
It's not just you have to have done it physically. I guess you could have like Charles Manson could be in there, right?
Yeah. Well, he is
sent
in
his
there actually.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's where the like talking in front of crowds thing kind of comes in. That's the Hitler
Yes.
like rub off.
Like by all means, Russell Crowe's character should just be a driveling maniac screaming and throwing his own shit, because you can't put 100 psychopaths together and expect him to be this like really suave, debonair genius.
To be fair, John,
It's so
he
great,
is
though.
screaming halfway through this movie.
Yeah.
He is screaming, and they do show like the progression, like, 1.2 only had 3 or 4 serial killers, and then look at 6.7 as 100. He gradually did it so he wouldn't go insane, though.
Or whatever. It's a computer program.
Yeah. We put 600,000 killers in him now. And then, he literally is just eating his own shit. Like,
Yeah.
What's the so like? I gotta ask the question. Like, what's the software upgrade for Sid 6.7? Like, do they get a service pack? Do you get that whole thing that happens when Windows keeps asking you to upgrade to Windows 11? You're like, fuck it, I'm not doing. It's like, well, you can get Service Pack 3, which has an additional 4,000 serial killers. That
Dude, that is
more
some
recent.
Esteban shit from Evil Speak. He's fucking downloading all kinds of devils and demons and killers from all over the world
Yeah, he's got Grimes on his computer.
on a floppy. Yeah.
Or what if you torrent a bunch of serial killers into Sid 6.7? Like, what if you do that sort of thing?
well, you don't
Does-
have to torrent, Brian. They're rich, They don't have that.
Oh, there you
But
go.
then he
Serial
just
killers.
does he just go full like lawnmower man at that point and is like creating like things out of thin air to like turn like making bees out of fucking like 3D energy or whatever that is?
Oh
Yeah,
shit!
just appearing.
Lawnmower
Yeah.
Man and Virtuosity are in the same universe. Just calling it right now.
They have to be
I-
Oh,
right.
100%. Dude, Sid is hanging out with fucking Job in the virtual reality realm.
And that's why Johnny Mnemonic has to like go in and try to stop them.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
him and the dolphin are trying to
and the
stop him. Yeah. It's it's the dolphin versus Cybo Man. Yeah. The
Oh
monkey.
my god!
Freddy versus Jason, Super Dolphin versus Russell Crowe. Sid 6.7.
So let's talk a little bit about. Well, let's just talk about the beginning of this, where we enter kind of this bizarro, like what I guess they view as virtual reality world, where there's a lot of Asian influences, and then just you got like weird guys that are bumping into each other, but they're dissolving into each other, and they're all wearing suits and
I
shit.
can't help but feel that was mildly racist.
Just a
Like,
tiny bit.
I guess like
I
sushi
mean-
wasn't that popular in the United States, so it's kind of like, ooh, this seems otherworldly somehow.
I love how like there's one like pair of chopsticks like going through the dude's one bowl that he's like sitting there, and like there's like little inklings that you're getting that like it's just a computer program at
Yes.
first.
Yeah, but they also, I guess I just don't remember because it was so fucking long ago at this point, but like the smiley face thing on the logo to the restaurant is how they find him. And it's like, yeah, people sign emails with that. And I'm like, did we?
Well, he also mentions he's like video game makers put in like Easter eggs of all that kind of shit. And
Yes.
that's like
Yeah.
that
Also,
dude's
Sean, they did
specific staple.
no research whatsoever. They
know,
probably didn't even know what an email was when they wrote it.
People are sitting in the theater. They hear this smiley face line, like, "Huh? I guess I gotta do that."
It's like, well, it's electronic mail. So you tell me I could take this paper letter and turn it into microchips? Like, yeah, sure.
But why is the smiley sideways? I don't get it.
Oh, well, you can't make it the other way. Oh, yeah. Well, what's funny is that this is supposed to be 1999. Like,
I thought it was 96, dude. This is fucking Predator 2 Danny Glover LA.
According to Wikipedia, it's 1999.
See, I was joking about that earlier before I realized it was a 95 film, and I was like, okay, Matrix, who watched this film and started taking notes?
Okay, wait. So are we suggesting that while Denzel is stopping Sid, Neo is stopping the Matrix, and Arnold is stopping the devil?
Yes.
Right, and I guess James Bond, what the fuck is it? Pierce Brosnan, he just totally failed. Like, Job got away. He screwed up.
Job got away.
The Batmobile lost a wheel and Joe got away.
Exactly.
Dude, I don't know, dude. Denzel and Sid in this are definitely like Joker and fucking Batman at some points.
Oh, wow.
They
that suit he has on?
Yeah.
Absolutely are. Well, I got to talk about the outfits that they're wearing in the virtual reality world. Like, who decided that, I guess, in the virtual reality world, you get to wear the, S&M version of police outfits?
Hot.
What is that about? And you don't see one other damn police officer this whole movie wearing that.
No, because there's only 2 police officers in this virtual world.
Did the training like come with the suits?
The only way to fight Sid is to be a gimp. It's all he responds to.
That guy Daryl, who programmed everything, he was really into the leather, like, look at the finish of that.
But this movie, by the way, was severely rewritten by Denzel. Because, like, I guess he wasn't like heroic enough, I guess. And he's like, if it's going to be a Denzel picture, I got to Denzel it up.
Well, they cut out the relationship. Like, he specifically cut out all the relationship stuff because he was supposed to have a relationship with the smartest criminal psychologist in the world.
Oh, thank God. Let me find this man so I can kiss his feet. That's like the one trope in movies I fucking hate.
Yes.
He probably was like, Denzel doesn't deal with a 5.
He doesn't deal with 5.
Did the director cut that out? Like, because it was like an interracial thing and he didn't think it would sell or some shit?
No, Denzel said, I'm not doing this.
Oh.
So he rewrote it.
I mean, you don't need it. It works as is.
Yeah, they don't need to bang.
No, not at all. Hey, my wife and my kid got blown up. You wanna be my new wife with your kid?
Well, that's the thing. Like, a lot of these movies, like in the 90s, the character had to have a case of the knock-A's, you know? But the thing is, like, he had a wife and kid, so it's like he already has a case of the knock-A's. So, like,
plus he would totally destroy her with that metal arm he has.
Oh yeah, he's fucking Winter Denzel, dude.
He is Winter Denzel. I love that no one ever talks about that in the movie. They're just like, yeah, he's got a cybernetic arm.
Like that's just like commonplace for because it's the future, guys. Don't forget.
Well, they mentioned it just enough times so then at the end when he actually utilized it, you're like, oh yeah.
That's right. He does have a cybernetic arm.
It was probably put in there because a lot of, like, the executive producers and the studio heads went, can we put in more computer crap?
How is he going to pull out the glow stick out of his arm if it's not fake?
How is he going to get the glow stick? Defuse the bomb. Oh, well, they give him a robotic arm.
He couldn't possibly just have that on his person.
No.
Like, I got this on my utility belt over here. Yeah.
If he had it on his person, Sid would have known, he would have thought of it, so he would have been able to, like, go against it. So it has to be in his arm.
That's right. So in this virtual world, we cover Sid 6.7, which, as we said, is an amalgamation of a bunch of different serial killers. And he is, without a doubt, the highlight of the entire movie. I'm just telling you this right now. Every scene that Russell Crowe is in this movie is glorious.
Oh, he's eating the fucking scenery, man. It's great.
This is a big role to give to, essentially, in America at least, an unknown at this point. Like, this is pre-Gladiator, pre-Beautiful Mind, and all that. But, I mean, he knocks it out the park, but I'm surprised they didn't try to... And I know why they got Denzel, obviously. He's like one of the biggest movie stars in the world in 95. But for the villain in this thing, I can't believe they didn't try to pick up, like, a huge name at that time. You know, like Richard Gere. There you go.
But Russell Crowe is pure charisma, dude. You know?
Yeah, he just is. Every line he has is just, you're just hanging on every word he says. And then on top of that, he's doing the most bizarre, crazy shit. Like, my favorite scene, and I still bust out laughing every time the scene pops up, is when he is fighting Parker towards the end of the movie, and he says, "Banzai!" and jumps up. I crack up every single time. I've seen this movie probably about, I don't know, 50 to 100 times since this came out, and I still laugh. I laughed at it last night when I was watching it.
I love when he does the backflip in the UFC fight.
Oh, well, yeah. UFC gave money to this movie. They're a producer.
Was that Ken Shamrock, or am I crazy?
Yeah, I think it was, because he was the biggest name in that type of fighting back then.
Because there was also some other like stupid movie that came out around this time. I mean, I've never seen it. I've only seen the trailer for it, but he's like a UFC fighter, and he's like the bad guy of the movie, Ken Shamrock.
That's surprising.
I forget what it's called.
You would think like Hulk Hogan, in terms of like, if we're comparing it to wrestling, would never want to be the villain in the movie. So I'm surprised that Ken Shamrock, the biggest name in UFC, would be like, yeah, I'll be the villain. But he does have that face that looks like he's going to mug you in an alley.
We have this really awesome shootout that happens at a sushi restaurant, and we discover that Sid has been fucking around with the virtual world because he kills Parker's partner, Costas Mandalore.
Wow, what a name.
Okay. Yeah. Wasn't he like the detective or something?
He was the detective in one of the Saw movies, yeah. But he plays John Donovan, the other prisoner who gets his brain zapped and killed because
who dies and fucks off out of the movie, like right in the beginning.
Dies and fucks off immediately.
Which you kind of feel a little bad for at first, even though they flat out tell you he's a criminal and deserves to die. Because it's like, well, he's still a human being. And then like you find out his buddy is like a white supremacist. So you're like, oh, okay, so he was a piece of shit. All right.
Yeah. It's like, well, I don't feel too bad for him anymore. I did for about 5 seconds. But
by the way, Costas Mandalore, that name, wow. But his wife's name is Talissa Soto. So I guess he's like, I have to marry somebody with as wacky of a name as I have,
He's gonna match it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because of this fuck up on Sid's part, they're threatening to terminate the whole program because
which they should.
Well, here's the thing. I mentioned this, about the ethical nature of testing dangerous virtual reality on prisoners for cops. Like,
well, I do think that's a commentary on basically how people who are incarcerated have become the new slave labor in this country.
A little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I think this movie actually has layers, boys.
I just find it hilarious that like the attorney general is like, I'm going to terminate this shit. I'm like, bitch, you had no problem with prisoners being used.
It definitely has its politics that it doesn't even wear it on its sleeves. It is literal window dressing because it is trying to say something, but it like only like kind of chirps at it, like here and there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, like the Native American guy at the end. It's like, oh, okay, I get what they're going or what they're trying to say with that. And it's like, all right, but why is this here?
They wanted to say something like, intelligent to seem intelligent, but they didn't want to actually explore it at all.
Right. Well, they mostly do it because there's the caveat with Sid that he wants to, be involved with these political events on TV. So I understand from a story standpoint, but it's kind of like you wish they go further with it.
Well, he just wants an audience. Also, William Forsythe is there, and like he's friends with Denzel Washington. If we're putting inmates into this experimental program, why the fuck is he taking his buddy out, who was a cop previous to this, and sticking him in this chair?
Well, I guess he's saying to him like, "Oh, well, you'll get time taken off of your sentence," which okay, maybe they seem to not care too much. Like, to strap you to this thing, and oh yeah, by the way, this thing could zap your brain off. Just don't worry, but hey, you'll get 2 weeks taken off of that 17-year sentence.
It's like the Suicide Squad, but Brian, I love the idea that they probably have spent countless billions of dollars on this, and then accidentally created like the almost a god-like creation of monsters that can escape into the real world, and then what they're going to discover is that like in a year and a half, DNA evidence can just do this 1,000 times better. And it's like, oh fuck, we backed the wrong horse.
Also, like, what was the goal there? Like, okay, let's put 200 serial killers into this one program, and then what? Is he like super hard to catch? Is that the whole thing?
Well, that's the idea, but the problem is, like, there's no oversight on this Daryl guy. Everyone's just, like, trusting that he knows what the fuck he's doing and not, doing
because
a physical...
computers are hard.
Well, yeah, I mean, but also, like, give this guy, like, a psychical evaluation, clearly.
Oh, yeah, he just kind of roams around the laboratory like a ghoul, just like...
It's like Dennis Nedry in Jurassic Park,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just allowed to run wild.
And Kevin J. O'Connor's working on some like next level sophisticated android shit in the next room. Like it's not even the same thing.
His fuck doll.
Well, he's like, you mean I can put that program in an android?
And when are we ever going to have 200 like maniacs in one human being? I got an answer. Spoiler alert, never. So like, why if somebody's
Freddy
preparing,
Krueger.
yeah, why are they preparing for their first boxing match ever? Would you put them in virtual reality to fight Wolverine?
I don't know. You're right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Like, you would think that they would dial down Sid 6.7 to like maybe like only have one psychopath in there at first, and then like
Or different
crank it
types,
up.
like sex psychopaths, mindless murdering psychopaths, really shrewd psychopath. Yeah, so you can try out
Shrewd
different.
psychopaths.
Well, like a Ted Bundy, you know what I'm saying? Like you
Yeah.
could try out all kinds of different serial killers and psychopaths instead of just one guy who's an amalgamation of everything. Like when you go to like your shelter and you're like, what kind of dog is that? They're like, oh, fucking, we know everything. You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something where they're like, all right, we're going to make this bad guy the most evil thing we can possibly think of, so let's just meld 1,000 serial killers together.
And then we'll make him hide in a Japanese restaurant
And wear a
or
purple
something.
suit.
I don't think he's hiding. I think he just went
He's
for
just
like,
there.
a bento
He's
box.
hungry.
Yeah.
A little murder, a little bento, yeah.
If you've got 1,000 psychopaths in your head, that's a lot of mouths to feed.
So which psychopath likes sushi though?
One of them from New York. It's got to be New York or Los Angeles. So maybe the Green River Killer or the Golden State
Could be.
Killer. Yeah.
I'm going to
It
just
could be.
assume he's got Genghis Khan DNA in there somewhere.
Well, a lot of people do.
DNA.
A lot of people do. Like Genghis Khan was just a serial rapist. Like,
Oh,
couldn't
I know.
get enough of it. So it's like people just find out. They do a DNA test. Like, you're related to Genghis Khan.
I just feel like Daryl would read that and be like, oh, yeah, he's going in there.
Yeah.
He's going in the dead pool.
If he could virtually eat sushi, does he virtually poop?
That's a good question.
Does he virtually have a butthole?
Well, the thing is, he's very sexual with the woman creation. of it.
Sheila.
So
Yeah.
yeah, he digitally jizzes. So does he digitally poo?
What's the code look like for that?
You know that Daryl guy programmed it. He
He
just jerks off to Sid taking a dump.
He just has to replace any mass that leaves his body with glass, and then he's good.
Can we all
Yes.
agree that Daryl probably is jacking it to watching Sid and Sheila?
He 100%.
Oh,
is.
100. Yeah, and 10%.
Okay.
Especially when he's in that hotel later, like sweaty as hell.
Yeah.
Just in his underwear watching the news.
Guys, never forget the whole premise of the movie is that boners brought we killed a bunch of people.
Oh,
Nearly
yes,
brought
that-
the end of the world.
That is 100% this. If what Kevin J. O'Connor hadn't had a boner for Sheila 3.2, none of this would have happened.
That's what literally happened. He fucking Dean Kuntzes this woman, or he thinks he's going to, like the demon seed into this fucking pod, because he's making like androids that also have like this chemical makeup that lets them regenerate via
Yes.
glass and stuff. It's
It's
insane.
nanobites that
Yeah.
absorb silica,
fun,
and-
confusing
and that
computer words.
causes them to regenerate.
Yeah.
And apparently their blood is blue.
It's really cool.
It's amazing. Like, and I crack up every time I see that whole scene where he's like sitting in front of me going like, I really would like to have Sheila, I could put her in my little pod thing.
And I can make her my sex slave because
it's like,
she has
dude,
no
Pretty much.
She has no understanding of anything outside of what I programmed for her.
yes. It's
Yeah.
like,
I mean, it's just a robot.
It's a robot.
Basically. It's a sex bot. It's a fembot is what he wants to
yes,
make.
that's what instead of like, I don't know, date. Like, you're telling me that in this version of 1999, there's no Tinder yet? Like, come on.
I mean, this guy's clearly got bigger problems if he's trying to make sex dolls that are that realistic.
And if this guy is the developer of androids in this laboratory, you telling me he can't pay for prostitutes?
Well,
I don't know, but he can make a lot more money with the synthetic sex worker than with Sid.
here's how I think it breaks down. I think that they're like, okay, let's see if we can create a virtual character in the first place before we try to create an evil serial killer one. and we're going to just create a person here. Why not have it have boobs? So I think she came first, Well, he came first.
He came first.
Why the fuck is this guy? Why does he want to bring Sid and put it into like a real person? Like you never have this guy's motivation. He's just a fucking weirdo.
Because
crazy
he's
scientist.
mad. He's mad they could pull the plug, so he figures that he could bring it into the real world and say, "Fuck you guys, deal with him in reality, bitches."
And that's the biggest problem with this movie is that this is a chase action movie between two people.
Yeah.
Ignoring the implications that man has become God. And they just bulldoze over that like it's nothing. And at the end of this movie, it's like, okay, yeah, Parker Barnes saved the day. Russell Crowe, Sid is back in the box, and they're going to destroy his computer chip and all that. It doesn't change the fact that they can just create life now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was the whole thing, because it was like part of that like program for the police at the end of the day.
What was Kevin J. O'Connor doing? Like, who was that for? What were they making? They were making like a whole other race.
Yeah.
Well, he just, you know what? You got to figure what was his thesis that he sold to get that like funding for that thing.
The funding, right? Like, well, is he making super soldiers for the cops or question mark? Like, what is going on in there?
Because this isn't like is this supposed to be kind of like a RoboCop dystopian world where like the streets are just riddled with crime? And
I mean,
maybe
they don't really say that. Like,
no, they don't.
It's not to that extreme. It's more or less like, hey, this laboratory develops like the equivalency of like, the paper shooting targets that the cops would be shooting at. But hey, this time, let's maybe make them blue silica androids that you shoot at that, hey, they're so realistic, you don't have to worry about morals and emotions because
you think that's
robots.
What's going on? Yeah. Because Kevin J. O'Connor like puts it right in the soup like it's no big deal, like he does it every day, and he's like, look, I'm gonna make a person in this pod, no problem.
I mean, the movie is outside of the sci-fi bullshit that we're talking about right now. Generally speaking, is like pretty grounded.
For the most part.
Yeah.
I mean, it definitely gets some things, I would say, kind of wrong. Like, even though like this is totally based on like, the rise of computers, like they're still using phones to do like the call-in like internet thing.
Right.
Like that scene where you've got like the broadcast bullshit and they're like, how many callers we have coming in? And I'm like, okay, so this is supposed to be the future, but you guys clearly
they can't predict everything, Brian.
They don't have the internet. And like my mind too is like, is this what the world would be like if we took all social media out of the equation?
Maybe.
But they're it's all basic, but they're controlling it on like a fucking Simon pad.
Yes.
Oh, like the music. Yeah.
Well, guys, it seems quaint now, but do you remember when like Steve Jobs came out and he's like, look at this rectangle. You get on the internet, you can text, it holds all your music, and it makes fucking phone calls. And he's like, you can all suck my dick now. You're welcome.
You're welcome. I invented the equivalent.
I don't think anybody realized that could be a thing, until it happened.
No. But Sid does get out in the world, as we mentioned. He gets put into the blue vat of goo and starts wreaking chaos. And this movie really is, the plot is Sid goes to some place, causes all sorts of terror. 5 minutes later, Parker shows up, shoots at him, and rinse and repeat. And that's pretty much the movie. Like,
well, that's the problem. It's like, okay, if it's RoboCop and like, the streets are riddled with crime, and so OCP uses that as an excuse to make a robot cop.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But if the streets are riddled with crime, then, Sid getting out isn't really that big a deal because the streets are already riddled with crime. So you need it to be almost more like a Demolition Man type of world.
Yeah.
Where things aren't really that bad and he can really fuck it up. But if it is then why did they need to create the Sid program in the first place?
Yeah, it's like that's why I'm saying it feels like grounded. And I guess what I mean by that is like it feels like something that I could see happening like in 100 years, like in reality on some level. But you're right, like, the logic kind of starts to fall apart once you start to actually, like, kind of put it out and start to really look at it.
Well, he's out there to get Sid as a means of cleaning up the PR mess that LaTeX has on their hands.
Well, also, like, there's this thing where it's like, well, what am I trying to say here? Like, he'll only do the things that he wants to do if Parker's involved with the case, if that makes sense.
Well, Parker becomes like his Batman, which is like I was saying, the Batman and Joker thing, which I think is weird because he chooses to pick the Grimes guy who killed Denzel's wife and kid as his like main personality, which I find strange if he has 200 more notorious serial killers running around in his program or brain or whatever the hell you want to call it.
I know I did. He read the script.
Oh yeah, he got it from Daniel Baldwin.
The movie needed to happen.
The movie needed. Yeah, that's right. But some notable places that Sid terrorizes. He first terrorizes a what they, I guess, the future thought was going to be a thing, which is a nightclub with people filming you with digital cameras with the weird like rainbow filter on.
They're sporting those camcorders that you can like rotate.
Yes.
Remember those? Yeah.
Yes.
And Tracy Lords is there singing.
Tracy Lords is in it doing a thing where she's singing. And on top of that, there's a robot bartender.
Welcome to Johnny
Bar.
Man.
Yeah.
And Russell Crowe has a great line where he says, "And to think you represent one of my ancestors,"
and then blows it away.
Fucking blows him away.
You know. But yeah, he goes to this nightclub and terrorizes them by getting screams recorded on like a Toshiba music maker.
It's a fucking bop it. He's playing on a bop it.
It's a bop it. Recording these screams on bop its and then conducting them, you know, like a maestro would.
It's kind of cool though. Like
it's cool,
he's
but
like
what,
a huge
what psychopath version of him did that one?
I don't know. He's like a huge narcissist, and again, like it's one of those things. Like, was Grimes a big narcissist, or like, what's the deal with that?
It would be amazing if he just got out in this world and he saw like a marquee for a movie and went, "Oh, that looks good. New Sylvester Stallone movie." I just went in and got his popcorn and was watching the movie.
And just watched it.
What mayhem is he doing? He's actually just watching Princess Bride. Actually,
that's a very cool universe where Sylvester Stallone's the Princess Bride.
Inconceivable.
Yeah.
That's
hey,
the
yo,
role he
Sid.
is. The
he's
poison
Wallace
guy.
Shawn. Yeah.
Right, Virtuosity.
You killed my brother. Prepare to die.
Simon Phoenix versus Sid. I want to see that.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Where my money's still on Sid.
Could you imagine?
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes and Russell Crowe on screen doing the same, like bouncing off each other like this. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I mean, Sid is like meta-human and Simon Phoenix is still a person, you know? So I don't think it's like Batman versus Superman, you know? It's just
It'd be funny as hell to just hear him banter is what I mean.
Where are the phaser guns at?
Yeah.
Oh shit. No, but well, after the crazy bar, you know, he kind of starts going on another rampage where he ends up in a mall and he just snaps someone's neck and no one seems to care. They're all filming it.
No, nobody cares about that dude who just got his neck broken.
Yeah, I love the guy filming it is just standing there like, you're not gonna do anything to me, are you?
Guys,
Well,
that's kind of what it is now. Like,
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
I know.
that's 100% the reality. Imagine if you saw that something like that happen now, you'd probably run away, grab your phone out, and start filming it. One, because you're just like, I need to capture this in case, you know, the evidence wise, and also just like, holy shit, I can't believe this happened. You know, like probably I'd say 6 months ago, we drove past on the highway around town, and we drove past a car that was on fire. Like it was on the side of the highway. It was literally golden flame. First thing my wife does, pull out the phone, take a picture, because when are you ever going to see that?
Well, you don't need no water. Let that
not
motherfucker
call the
burn.
cops.
Well, no, the cops were there. Like it was.
Oh.
The cops were already there, but you're like, traffic was backed up because of it, and it was like it's something that you don't see every day. Like holy shit, a car is literally on fire. But you know that's something that. You know, Sean, you mentioned about this movie somewhat being grounded. That part is pretty accurate.
Yeah, it's like weird stuff like that. Again, like I hate to keep referencing Demolition Man and Lawnmower Man because everybody's always going to find one or two things in their version of the future that they actually kind of nail. But yeah, like that smiley face thing, and then like what you're talking about right now, and like little shit kind of towards the end that pops up. I'm like, huh, all right. people had some inklings. The rest of it, they were totally fucking off the mark. But
Yes.
here and there, little things. It's like, oh yeah, that kind of worked out like that for better or worse.
Yeah. So after the mall murdering, Sid decides that he's going to go to a UFC fight, which glorious scene.
We got to look. Every one of the places that he goes are just like, okay, we need cool locations.
Cool locations.
There's no
fight.
logic or reason to it. It's just like, oh, what about a big arena with a cage in it and all in a big audience, and half of our cinematography will be done for us because we can just use all the overhead lighting rigs and shit.
You're thinking like a producer now, John.
There you go.
And this is like the scene with the UFC. The UFC scene is like when he has like the shot of the woman. They're like, they're staying on this shot of this woman. Wow,
He's got nice titties.
Yeah, and they keep showing the production crew dead in the fucking like just bodies,
shot in the head. He goes there to like kill the woman on live television,
right?
Yes,
so that people watch
fine.
him.
Yeah, she's perfectly fine with being filmed. Just like, okay, maybe you might find it flattering for the first like couple of minutes, but then you have to be like, something seriously wrong.
After
Right?
30
Still
minutes,
filming me.
you'd be afraid. Like after 30 minutes, the camera's on you. That there's a problem.
And not showing
And
the
she's-
fight that's just going on in the ring.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, oh my god, this cameraman has such a fucking hard on.
And I love the fact that she doesn't seem to care that Sid's like, going in the ear like, oh, they love you. I love you too. She's fine with that
Well, this is handsome
Until he
Russell
licks her.
Crowe. Yeah.
until he licked her. It's like,
No, I thought he lost her
okay.
when he was like, listen to my rock and roll music. And they're like, oh no.
Oh, I thought he lost her when he threw her fucking boyfriend off the balcony, and she was like,
Oh,
"Oh
yeah.
no,
No, don't fight him. Oh shit, he threw him off the balcony.
You know
Like-
what? When they went to this fight, he was like, hey babe, it's expensive at concessions. Can we go Dutch? She's like, fine, whatever. And then when he threw off, she's like, good. I didn't like him anyways. He made me buy my own nachos.
That is one of my biggest like strange fears, like not being thrown off of one of those things, but like slipping or like tripping over yourself and busting your ass and flying over one of those things. So I was like, okay, yeah, you're dead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say getting killed by Russell Crowe, right? That's one of your biggest fears.
That's
Well,
a reasonable fear. He does hit a lot of people.
1995 Russell Crowe? Yeah.
He like threw a phone at his mom's head.
That's true.
Yeah.
It was a legitimate fear.
2023 Russell Crowe? That fear is not really there anymore.
No, he's eating too much Cinnabon. He needs to take a nap, He's
Yeah.
too tired and carbo loaded to fight,
I do love though how Denzel shows up and like before this scene, like William Forsythe's like, yeah, you got to be a little bit more careful because there's like the scene with the woman on the train.
Yes.
When he accidentally like shoots her, quote unquote, but then they find out, well, maybe actually Sid shot her, but we have no proof.
So we're gonna lock you up anyway.
Yeah, but the point is,
Yeah.
William Forsythe's like, oh, be more careful. If you hit a civilian, they're gonna lock you up. So now it's like he keeps like going to shoot Russell Crowe, but then like realizes, oh fuck, there's 400 people in front of me. Maybe I shouldn't. And keeps like lowering the gun. It's like, what are you gonna hit with this?
And wouldn't you want to trust Barnes's like? He's like, okay, she was looking at me.
Yeah.
Where was the bullet wound? Oh, it was in her spine from
Yes.
an up close shot.
Yes.
Oh wait,
Right.
you know what? It was that maniac we let out of the computer system. Sorry, Parker. This
Yeah,
one's not for you.
This
Don't
one's not
fuck up
for you.
again.
No.
Why is everybody like it's clearly an exit wound, and then the cops are just now after Parker the whole time, not the fucking maniac
No,
running
no.
around like just
Oh.
killing everyone. They're after Denzel for some
Well, hey,
reason.
do you want to capture Bane or do you want to capture the man who captures the Batman?
Apparently they want to capture the man who captures the Batman.
Right.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, Parker gets arrested and, Sid breaks him out and then has a shooty bang bang moment. One of the rare ones in this
Yeah.
movie where there's not a gun going off at some degree. Where basically he says like, it brings me a lot of joy to be going after you. This is your quintessential Joker Batman moment, as you had mentioned
Oh,
before.
big time.
He's even in a purple suit.
Yeah, that he stole from some guy.
He's in his fucking zoot suit, dude.
I love when they interview the guy he stole it from. He's like, he
Oh,
made me
yeah.
strip down to my underwear. He stole my $150 suit.
That's a nice suit.
That's a nice suit.
Why did he not kill that guy though?
He just wanted his screams.
Right. And he complied.
Yeah, he did what
he
he wants.
complied. He
gave him
doesn't
a
kill
suit.
anybody that listens to him.
Right. Well, he
Or
only
gets in his way.
He snapped that guy's neck because he kept trying to watch the report on his murders, and the guy kept putting the UFC fight on.
Yeah, he kept changing it back, so he killed him.
Yeah. Say here, friend. I would like to keep watching the fight if that's okay with you, buddy. Oh, my neck.
More or less.
That's basically it. If you change the channel for Sid, he'll
I paid $59.95 in 1999 money to watch this UFC fight.
I'm watching this fucking TV for free.
Yeah, I do kind of love that the Denzel basically gets like broken out by Sid while he's in the middle of his own flashback. And he's like,
Yes.
yeah, this is what happened. Like, I tried to save my wife and kid, and I got tricked, and, you know, I killed all the people, but then, you know, he's not actually saying this. This is Sean doing a poor explanation of it. But then, like, you find out he accidentally killed, like, some civilians, and that's what's haunting him. And then it's like, oh, yeah,
yeah.
Sid's just, like, breaking you out, by the way, and you're being blamed for all these murders. Good luck.
By the way, there's no way Denzel, a cop, would have gone to jail for 17 years.
That's what I was thinking. I was going to say that before. I wanted to wait till we got to the flashback scene, but like, there's no fucking way he's going to jail for that. He got his fucking arm blown off. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he definitely would be, you know, maybe house arrested, but yeah, he's not sitting in a penitentiary.
No. Especially because like he killed, you know, the terrorist that I'm blanking the name on, Matthew Grimes. He killed him.
Yeah.
He killed his men. You know, and he had, you know, Grimes had killed his wife and daughter. And yes, it was accidental shooting, horrible, but I'm pretty sure that any lawyer worth their salt could have been able to get him off for at least.
You know what, Parker? You're suspended with pay.
That would have been real.
Yeah.
That would have been grounded.
Can somebody explain me what the fuck Connie Chung was doing there anyway? Like, what was she? Why was she in the
She's
basement?
getting the big scoop.
Exactly. That's like some Vice shit right there.
She was huge then, yeah.
It's Connie Chung too.
I love how he fucking mows the dude down, and it's like right behind him. Like, oh, do you have any words? Like after he shoots Grimes, and he just blows him away.
Yeah.
And they sneak up on him.
Well, I guess I don't understand. Like, if you've got Parker's family tied to a bomb 2 rooms down from where you're doing an interview, why would you do that at the same time?
Well, it's like a fuck you to him, you know? It's like he got off on it, you know?
This one's for you.
This one's for you.
You're supposed to be dead.
It's like, okay, but it didn't work. You've been trying to kill him like how many times? Like,
well, then
whatever.
he gets like, doesn't he get like on a payphone or something, and he calls Madison, and he's like, I
Yes.
didn't kill the guards.
Yeah.
Well, yes, because in 1999, this version of the future, cell phones aren't a thing.
But they have
Payphones still
payphones.
exist.
Hey, that was actually fairly accurate. I mean, I remember like grabbing a payphone,
Listen.
calling 1-800-Collect and say, "Dad, pick me up."
Well, I was going to say this would have been very accurate if he pulled out a collect card.
I mean, if this was supposed to be 2005 and they were getting some like serious behind the scenes shit in these fucking scientist labs with these building androids, then maybe.
It's 99 though.
We are growing Android. We're growing people from computer programs in some blue fucking goo, and you're telling me you don't have portable phones?
Nope.
Well, no, they have 10, 10, 220. What else do you need?
220.
It's free for you and cheap for them.
Yeah. So he calls up the smartest criminal psychologist of all time and says, I didn't do it. Where are you at? I didn't do it. Where my family's at. Okay. Cryptic enough.
She
It's
does
the
fuck
movies.
all, by the way, in this
She-
movie.
oh,
She has
she's
nothing
terrible.
to do.
She exists really just because like he tells the story about his wife and daughter, and you're like, okay, well that's gonna happen to her daughter, obviously.
Yes.
Because she leaves, and then Russell Crowe pulls up like in a fucking electrician van and is like just standing outside her house.
And you know that all Russell Crowe probably did was just go be like, hey, do you want to talk baseball?
Yeah, well, because she keeps earlier she walks up to Denzel and just like, hey, how you doing?
Complete fucking stranger. Hey, how you doing? Let's talk about baseball. I see you have a gun there.
Hey, you know what? I mean, if maybe it was towards like World Series time, you want to talk
Maybe.
talk a little baseball, you know?
A little
That's
bit,
fine.
yeah.
Fine nowadays. Like, hey, can anybody beat the Yankees? I sure hope so. Maybe they'll play the Mets Subway Series. You know, I get it.
Yeah. So they meet at the cemetery, and of course they're now, they've basically proven he didn't actually like kill anybody. And
I'm telling you, man, this takes place the same year as Predator 2 because Danny Glover's over there, saying his respects to Danny Boy. Same cemetery.
See, this is where I disagree, though, guys, with Denzel taking out the love aspect of it, because if it was his wife and daughter, that was murdered, like, wouldn't it make sense that it was like his new love interest and his surrogate daughter, not just his partner's daughter?
But it's one of those things, man, like that's a common thing you see happen in these movies. It's like forcing a relationship to occur that doesn't make any sense. It's more like a relationship out of convenience of the plot. These two are in, half of the scenes together, so we have to have a relationship happen.
But it's like Aliens, though. It's like, hey, Ripley, you were out sleeping for like 56 years and your stupid daughter died while you were sleeping. But don't worry, you're going to get stuck on this planet where there's going to be like a cute little kid and you can just be a mommy again,
I mean, yeah.
And the thing with Hicks is like, oh, well, she's been frozen for how long in space or whatever, sleeping in space. Like, she just wants to fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
This is a little different because it's like, oh, we got Denzel in jail. It's not like he had like a life that he was living and they were like, hey Denzel, you need to come back because there's this computer program that's taken the persona of the people who killed your wife and daughter.
You mean like Demolition Man?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Unfreeze them. Yeah.
Unfreeze them.
All these movies had to be slightly different. They couldn't take every idea from each other. They just had to take like 2/3 from each other. Yeah. They had to fill in the rest.
That's right. I mean, the prop more than likely, like, Demolition Man did steal ideas from this movie.
Oh, absolutely. Where do you think they got the 3 shells?
Yeah. So after the cemetery scene, we go to, I guess, what is considered an internet broadcast in 1999 terms, where you've got like a TV station that operates call-in stuff over a debate, and it's being marketed as like, this is going to be the largest broadcast of all time about immigration. It's like, okay, don't think that would get a whole lot of eyeballs.
Hell of a thing to pick, right? Like,
of all the things.
Yeah.
Of all the things to pick, this is what you do. But
again,
whatever.
This movie wants to pretend like it's deep, but it's not.
Right.
It's all surface level shit. It's basically bang, bang, boom, boom. This reminds me almost of like Predator in a sense where Predator, bless its soul, never pretended to be anything but what it was. Bunch of muscular dudes or muscular dudes show up into the fucking jungle and have to fight a monster, and they do, and then they get the fuck out. There's no deeper meaning to it, but This is kind of basically that. It's like Denzel has to fight a monster who's a virtual program, but they want to pretend they're really super smart about it the whole time when they're not.
The one thing I love about this scene, though, is that, when Sid does kill everybody at the TV station and then takes it over and recreates it as Death TV, again, kind of just showing that, yeah, people are sick fucks at their very core, because you suddenly see like all of the viewers like crawl on it and like it shoots up. And you're just like, oh, they're trying to say that we're all horrible human beings. And
don't most serial killers have a desire to like not get caught so they can keep doing it? Like, it almost seems like Sid is desperately trying to get caught.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the weird part. He wants all eyes on him.
Well, it's like he wants to be able to like get away because he constantly gets away with it. It's the way I kind of looked at it. It's like, well, if I make the event bigger and I still get away with it, it's like almost like a bigger adrenaline rush.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's going after him though, except Parker. Not the cops.
Sure.
Either.
Well, at this time, the cops are shooting Parker. They're not even shooting at Sid.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, they're shooting at both of them at one point when they're in that helicopter.
It's Parker. He might have killed that lady. How
many people even know about the Sid program? Like
10, maybe?
10
So
people.
maybe it's just like, oh, this is just some random wacko. I don't know that he's actually a computer program, an amalgamation of all the best features of psychopaths.
He kills 3 cops. Why isn't the APB out on this guy?
Well, we also have like the whole thing with like William Fletcher.
Forsythe.
Well, no, there's William Fitchner is also in this.
Oh,
Him and that other
the
woman
other
that
guy,
are like
yeah.
are in charge of
yes,
the program.
Yes.
Are like one of the two people that know about it. Are basically trying to act like, oh, Denzel's the problem. Let's activate his fucking Suicide Squad bomb and let's kill him. Or, it's like a neurotoxin in the movie. I'm
Yes.
joking, but like they have the ability to do that. And it's like, why are you not worried about the fucking actual threat? You're worried about this guy that you know for a fact didn't kill anybody, but you like have like a stick up your ass about your program, and you're willing to just kill the one guy that actually might be able to solve this problem. Again, it's just creating tension, obviously, for the movie.
100%. 100%. The whole like addition of the head bomb or head neurotoxin bullshit, I'm just like, all right, you guys rip that off and Escape from New York. And
they do add the
basically-
wrinkle though, where Williams Forsythe, when he finds out about it, he goes in there and shoots the fucking computer and like throws a chair at it.
Jay's like, I got
So,
your
wait,
bomb
you were gonna
right
kill-
here.
He was like, oh, you're going to kill my friend, right? So I'm going to fuck up your whole computer room. But he was just as quick to be like, yeah, he totally shot that woman before. Put him in jail.
Right. Also signing him up for this program that he could die doing.
Yeah, I was going to say the same. He's such a buddy that he's like, hey, sign up for this experimental program. You could die, but hey, you'll get 2 weeks taken off your sentence.
We go way back.
Go way back. He's my buddy. We used to swap lunches in the police lunchroom. Yeah.
Hey, Parker, we just want to see what happens if we shoot heroin and surge soda into an hypodermic needle into the tip of your dick. We get 2 weeks off of your sentence. Can we try it? Yeah.
Your other option is to go back in your cell for 17 years. Which one's it going to be?
Yeah. Do you want steroids and surge and heroin in the tip of your dick, or go back to jail?
He's fine. He's got some crayons. He's good.
After the Death TV thing, we find out that, of course, the smartest criminal psychologist, his daughter, not apparently that smart, got abducted and put in a silo somewhere where she's going to get blown up. And because the plot. Yeah.
Where'd he get a bomb?
Oh, yeah. When did he have the time to set up a bomb?
Don't overthink it.
Yeah, you know
It's
what?
virtuosity.
He stole a suit. He killed a motherfucker at UFC. He ate some shawarma. He was busy.
It was, you know what? It wasn't Baby's Day Out. It was Sid's Day Out.
Well, if it was Baby's Day Out, he would just have to crawl on his fucking knees and no one would know where he went.
But I do think the very end of this movie is pretty clever. And I'm not talking about the bomb thing, which is the most convoluted mess.
That is
I've
the most
ever seen.
convoluted part. But talk about the ending, John.
But just the way, I don't even know all the details, like how to describe. But they eventually trick Russell Crowe back
Sid.
into the machine, so they basically re-imprison him, and they keep reenacting the
They loop the scene.
Yeah, they loop it.
There's a big thing we should mention. He fucking throws Sid through a window, and he gets his arms and legs cut off.
Yes.
And then he goes down to kill him, and Sid's about to push his face onto a piece of glass, but he punches a hole in the back of Sid's head and rips out the computer.
And to keep this PG-13, they made the blood blue. So it's not.
Yeah, this
real.
isn't
I think it's
RoboCop
cool,
2, where he takes Kane's brain out of
God.
the RoboCop
yeah.
2. Yeah.
But you're right, it is pretty clever because I was kind of confused at first because I was like, wait, what the fuck just happened? Because they just looped the scene, and then it's like, oh, because this time Denzel actually doesn't stop him, and he lets himself get killed, quote unquote.
Well, yeah, I watched
Throws him off
this
the
with
fucking
my
building.
partner. She had never seen it before, so she kind of looked at me like, "What the fuck? Did Denzel just
They
die?"
took his brain out, put it in the computer, and then redid the simulation. So.
I'm back in the box.
I'm back in the box. You're in my world now.
Well, that
Oh,
part.
dude, yeah,
gets
Job's there.
really-
Welcome home, Sid.
Dude, he's flipping this guy in the air, and Denzel's free falling for 5 minutes, screaming ah, like Mario.
Meanwhile, his brain is what exploding?
His brain's exploding.
Right.
Because we can't just have the movie be over. We need to have that
No.
little thing there too.
Oh, we also need to have Daryl show up and basically kill William Forsythe just because.
Oh yeah,
Because he's interrupting the fucking procedure.
No one talks about that one, by the way, is, what happened to Billy. Billy's dead.
He just hits him in the head with a fucking bat a few times.
nobody even cares.
No one cares.
Yeah,
Billy's
Denzel doesn't run up to the body when he gets out. He's just like,
No.
all right, he's dead, whatever.
Dead. He's like, well, if it wasn't for Billy, your brain would be full of neurotoxin right now. So, there is that.
True.
Well, let us not forget too is that they saved the day in terms of stopping Sid, but the overlying issue still exists that they can create life. And I know they probably did it because they wanted like Virtuosity 2 Computer Boogaloo. You know, they probably thought this was going to be a big franchise. So it's like, okay, we'll solve that in the next movie. But basically, at the end, it's like, everything worked out, except the fact that we can now create life out of virtual monsters. And that is still a thing.
And Denzel goes back into jail. That's what happened. That's the true ending.
Yeah.
That's the reality ending there, is that conveniently that pardon would disappear. Final thoughts on Virtuosity before we talk about your guys' podcast.
I liked it a lot, like a lot more than I was anticipating. Now, like as we're talking it through, maybe some of those plot points do fall apart, like under scrutiny. But I had a really good time. Other films, I don't know if it's a genre or a subgenre or just a bullet point in time. But the other films of this style, I definitely think I prefer like a Demolition Man over this. But this is still a hell of a good time, and. I don't know if it's as good as Lawnmower Man, but I enjoyed it as much. If that means anything to anyone, check it out. It's pretty great. Russell Crowe eats glass, by the way.
Yes, he does.
Well, that's just him in real life. They actually didn't even mean to film that. That was his lunch.
That was an outtake. They left it in.
Mr. Crowe, why are you eating the glass?
I'm getting
This is what we do in the Outback.
It's fucking delicious. This movie, I really enjoy this. I think this is one of those flicks that at least I don't see a lot of people talk about. I mean, if you bring it up, they go, "Oh shit, that's right. Russell Crowe's got the blue blood and he eats glass and shit." And I remember that with Denzel Washington. It's not like Sean said, it's not the most memorable or the best out of the bunch of the movies that were coming out at that time of this ilk. But it's so fun, man. Denzel's great. He's always fun to watch. And Russell Crowe is fantastic. I mean, he's just not only eating glass, but he's eating the rest of the fucking scenery in every scene that he's in. It's just really fun. I love the concepts with the android stuff, with that, like I said before, that like Dean Koontz, like demon seed thing. We don't really get in depth with that. That's window dressing. You know what I mean? It's like, oh yeah, by the way, we can also make fucking androids. But anyway, I don't know. Everybody's really good in it, and it's a fun time. You know, I think it's a solid, fun action flick, and definitely worth the spin for sure. It was fun to revisit. So,
John, what about you?
I mean, it's such delicious '90s cheese, as I said at the top of the episode, but also even more than that, like I would say for young people who, you know, you've had a Facebook account since you were 3 and always grew up with social media, you've always had a cell phone, like. Take a look at this so you can understand what us old folks like who were introduced to the internet and how terrified we were of something that, you know, is so novel now and has always been a part of your life. Like, go back and just watch this. That way you'll have a better understanding of this. Like, because I remember I was in a dentist's office when I was like 8 years old, and there was a news story on internet shopping. And what they predicted it would be is that you would wear a virtual helmet and you would go around a virtual mall and you'd find like a virtual dress and you would like click on it and you would buy it, and then it would like be sent in the mail because they couldn't fathom any other like way that you could shop online. So that was the world we lived in, guys, if you're too young to remember it. So, and if you are from that era, go back and just remind yourself just how crazed we were in the before the Y2K scare.
Yes. No, I absolutely love this movie. It was great to revisit it. It's arguably, like, if you couple this one with, I think I mentioned this before, with Russell Crowe in Unhinged, it's you're gonna have a good back-to-back night.
Both ends of the spectrum.
Both ends.
Yeah, I
of the
gotta check
spectrum.
that out.
Unhinged is an insane movie. It is. I watched it. That was a pandemic watch. Like, right as that movie came out, it was supposed to go into theaters, and then because the pandemic occurred, they dumped it to Amazon Prime. But if you like this version of Russell Crowe, where he's insane and chewing up the scenery, that is quite literally Unhinged. But it's him dealing with road rage. Like, it's Russell Crowe in road rage.
Falling down, pretty much.
It's falling down, yes, but it's not
Okay,
nearly
gotcha.
as deep as Falling Down is. It's just Russell Crowe going insane for 90 minutes.
It's
which
Michael
is
Douglas
fun.
with carb addiction.
Oh God, John. I think you're kind of. I'll say like you're kind of pushing the fat Russell Crowe thing a little too far now.
You know what? I should give him every time he's in Pittsburgh to shoot a movie, he always goes to the Penguins game. So he's cool in my book.
He's cool in my book, but here, try Atkins. Is what you're saying.
He used to be a pretty handsome man. That's all I'm saying, but he's the kind of guy that goes to the Cinnabon at the airport he arrives at.
Oh, shit. Great. Well, Joe and Sean, tell me about Movie Dumpster. When did you guys start the podcast?
When did we start the podcast?
Yeah, when did you start the podcast?
2016, I believe, is when we launched it. Yeah, man, we're still kicking, dude. There's still plenty of movies to talk about, but we talk about mostly horror stuff, but we do action and sci-fi and all kinds of like weird kid movies or like weird shit that we grew up with, like Munchie or something like that. So yeah, we have our own built-in universe for our show where all the movies are connected, called the MDU, the Movie Dumpster Universe. And yeah, it's a good time if you want to check it out.
There's a lot of cum.
There's a lot of cum, yeah.
A lot of cum.
So be prepared. Get those fucking raincoats on.
So every movie, the universe, like you try to create an existing like cohesive universe. I want you guys to review Homeward Bound and The Accused.
All right, I don't know The Accused, but give me a short synopsis so I can give a visual in my own brain of that.
Oh, Jodie Foster is gang raped in a bar, and then nobody believes her.
Okay, so the dogs and the cat, they're like in the room. They see the whole thing, but they like can't tell anyone because they don't like speak human.
Sassy,
they can't talk.
Sassy would not talk anyway.
Sassy was not the same after seeing that.
Good Lord. You guys took the bait, and I thank you for it.
That's basically the show. You just kind of set up a bit that you would probably hear or see on Movie Dumpster. Not even joking.
They obviously go and they meet Einstein from Watchers, and then he can communicate with Corey Haim, and then he tells him about what happened to Jodie Foster, and then the day is saved.
Right.
Perfect.
Yeah, no, adds
there
up.
You go.
The Goonies are in there somewhere, too. But yeah,
I hear they never say die, so
never or come
or come.
Well, I doubt there was anybody that actually saw the rape in person. Hey, you guys!
Exactly.
Oh no,
you were there.
He was in the corner eating ice cream.
A baby Ruth, yeah.
Yeah, he was feeding it to the dogs, and then he was very confused when they started convulsing and spitting it up later.
All four of us have just now been canceled.
Well, hey.
I apologize, Brian. You did literally nothing.
I didn't know. I'm just listening.
You're like Billy Bush on the Access Hollywood fan.
Totally am. Yeah, that's me. I didn't do anything. I just pressed record. That's it. Yeah.
Well, like Joe said, we do a lot of horror. Like we just did The Burning. We've done like movies like Leviathan. We did Problem Child 2 recently.
Oh God, that's a good one.
Yeah.
The second one.
But
It's kind of great.
We've covered stuff like Tetsuo the Iron Man. So there's a big mixed bag of stuff,
Nice. And you also have done some live events, right? Like I saw you did Super Mario Brothers recently.
Yeah, we had the pleasure of hosting Super Mario Brothers 1993 at the Mahoning Drive-In.
I was going to ask which one. Yeah, okay, 93. Sweet.
93, baby. Yeah, it's got to be the Hoskins and Leguizamo Classic. Yeah, we had a really good time. It was a pleasure to finally be a part of something at the drive-in. So that was really cool.
And it was Mario Brothers.
And it was Mario Brothers, which is a big staple of our show.
Yeah, it's a running joke. We've kind of covered it in just about every capacity, I think, at this point. We covered the book.
My favorite quote.
Yeah, we covered
comes from that. Bob Hoskins, do you have any regrets in your life? No, none at all. Wait, that's Super Mario Brothers movie.
I was fucking King Lear.
Also, like Lawnmower Man's a big one too on the show that we've got a lot of jokes with. So that's what Cybo Man comes from. So if you ever see anybody kicking around on the any of the live chats or social medias asking for Cybo Man, that's what that's from.
Nice. You got a live show coming up soon, right? You got one up in the 7th, right? October 7th.
Yeah, I think it's the weekend of the 7th and the 8th. We're going to be at the Philomoka for Crypt Video Rentals. for their for Tapes from the Crypt and retro release video, which they do annually, which is pretty cool. And we got to go there last time, but this time will be a little different. It's a Halloween show, and there's going to be a ton of great vendors and stuff, and a lot of our friends are going to be there. But we're going to be we're going to be on stage, I believe, talking about some Hocus Pocus, because they're going to be showing Hocus Pocus, and we're going to kind of do like a little live commentary thing. So that should be fun.
Yes, looking forward to that.
Now, is that going to be like families are there, or is you guys can like go to?
Oh, geez. Well,
I hope
when
not.
you ask the dumpster guys to do a show, I think you kind of know what you're getting into.
I mean, definitely read the room. Decide how far into these jokes you want to delve. But
how much cum you can throw around is what
exactly.
You're saying. Yeah.
Again,
I think we can also be funny without the cum. It's possible. We are. Yeah.
It's a fun thing to joke about.
It is.
Especially when it's raining from the sky.
Oh, shit. Well,
but anyway, yeah, you can check us out at moviedumpsterpodcast.com if you want to listen to some more cum jokes and some movie reviews.
If that wet your whistle, hopefully not with cum.
Well,
quite literally.
Unless that's your thing. I mean, hey, you do you.
No judgment.
Well, I can say for you guys, all I have to say is say into pi alpha maybe up and die.
Oh, there you go.
There you
go. I always wanted to dress like the skeleton band in that movie. I love that guy.
You should do that for your live event. Dress up like
maybe.
the skeleton band.
That'd be fun.
I've always wanted to dress as Sarah Jessica Parker from that movie so that I could finally have an excuse for masturbating to myself backlit.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
It's a pretty
that was
good
one
excuse.
of them private thoughts.
You let that one sneak out.
In Kamakoriyama.
You were thinking about those yabos. You couldn't help it.
Yabos. Oh, great. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having both you guys on. I'm glad you guys were here to kick off our 90s dystopian future science fiction month. And definitely check out,
man.
Check out Movie Dumpster. Where can they find you guys at on the social medias?
It's just at Movie Dumpster on everything, whatever the hell you're using nowadays, X or Threads or whatever the fuck it's called, Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, you could also go to moviedumpsterpodcast.com and kind of find everything there. We have a brand new website, got all our social links on there, Patreon links, store links, all the stuff that's related to Movie Dumpster. If you just head to that URL.
Website. It's a nice website.
Thank you.
Really,
we just had it redone. My wife helped us put it together because she's a web designer. And yeah,
very cool.
You can get the episodes right on the front page there. You can listen, wherever you get your podcasts. Obviously, if you're a podcast listener, or we have a video version of the show that's on YouTube too, if that's your thing.
Nice, very cool. We'll definitely check out Movie Dumpster. I know I'll be listening to your back catalog. Because
hell yeah,
the whole idea of taking your movies and making a whole Movie Dumpster universe sounds hilarious to me. So I definitely will listen to those.
It writes itself, man. Honestly,
kind of does.
We don't have to do much legwork to put them all together.
Awesome. Cool.
In fact, we're going to be doing I want to do an MDU thing about this episode that we're going to post.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because Sid walks. There's like a shot of Sid, or Russell Crowe rather, walking to the Bee Gees.
Yes,
and that's exactly
how. That part.
That's exactly how Bushwhacked
I was
opens.
thinking the same exact thing.
You're
literally.
right.
With Daniel Stern shoving snow
Max
cones in his mouth.
Bushwhacked. Catch the Bushwhack fever.
Yeah, Bushwhack fever. Yeah,
that trailer's great.
Trailer's so good. But yeah, so we'll be posting some stuff for some promo for this episode of that. So that'll be fun.
I thought I had COVID. Turned out the doctor told me it's just bushwhack fever.
Bushwhack.
Get your doctor to give you a prescription for that then, John.
I think there's supposed to be spiders in my seminal fluid. I'm not sure.
Oh my God.
They're definitely not
out of the dick hole?
It's part of bushwhack fever.
Spider.
Oh shit! Wow, this has been a hell of an episode. It seriously has been a hell of an episode. John, where can they find you at on the internets?
Facebook, X, Twitter, or no, sorry, not Twitter, because X. Instagram is what I meant to say, and over at the YouTubes. Check me out.
How's your Dirty Harry episode coming?
You know, it's actually filmed, Brian. It's actually filmed. Now I just need to go through the long, complicated, arduous editing process. Yay!
So the inside joke, guys, is that John has a YouTube channel called J-Dub's Video Nasties, and he has been promising for, what would you say, John?
2 months.
2 months? 2 months. Yes, 2 months. That, and at the end of every episode we've done, where he's like, I've got a new episode that's coming about Dirty Harry, and it's been 2 months late. And so
I got a lot going on, Brian.
you got a lot going on. So I want to just
I'm
ask,
sure everybody understands.
how's the Dirty Harry episode coming?
You know what? If I was paid to make this Dirty Harry episode, it would have been out a long time
It's
ago.
almost like you should make an OnlyFans, John.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I always say I'll start an OnlyFans and people will pay me to put my clothes back on.
I don't know. I mean, here's the deal. I have seen your risque pumpkin pictures, and honestly, people would pay money for
Would you
this.
fuck a pumpkin?
No, that's exactly what he does.
Every October, I hump pumpkins.
He goes to pumpkin
Oh.
patches, and he gets these pictures taken, and it looks like
Those poor pumpkins.
he's fucking like the pumpkin orgy. Like,
Hey, they
it
were
literally-
asking for it. They weren't even wearing any
Oh
clothes.
no! Oh, now you're canceled.
Now you are canceled.
They were lining up.
Look, they didn't have enough seeds. They wanted my seed too.
You're
Pump up those
fertilizing them.
pumpkins.
That's what you're doing, John. Right? You're fertilizing them.
Yeah.
You better be careful with
Circle
that
of life.
shit, dude. You're gonna get a homunculus. Yeah.
Circle of life. I use my seed to get their seeds going.
Oh, horrible. But anyway, you can find me at Brian Connington on X, formerly Twitter, wherever the fuck it's called. Well, I don't know what it is going to
The
be.
Musk
you know,
Husk.
next, yeah, the Musk Husk. You can also find us on Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram at Psycho Show. We are also on the TikToks for our Gen Z and younger millennial folk. You can find us there at Cinema Psycho Show. We're also on Discord. So if you want to hop on the Discord channel, look for it's in the description and talk to us about why Virtuosity is your favorite movie of our month-long look at science fiction, dystopian 90s movies. Go there, or you can tell us why, maybe you like fat Russell Crowe, and that's okay too. Or if you're Russell Crowe, you can come on there and talk to us. Whatever.
Russell
That's
Crowe will
fucking
find me
cinema
and beat me
psycho
up.
fuckers.
Well, I'm shooting another movie in Pittsburgh. I'm going to go beat up that psycho prick. He's like, which one are you? I'm like, the bald one.
Oh, you fucking asshole.
Fighting around the world.
Fighting around. I was waiting for that.
Just
whole
make sure he
episode.
never hears our Reign of Fire episode on Movie Dumpster, because we get beating our asses too.
Is Russell Crowe in that episode? I don't
No,
think
but we
he
talk
is.
about him. The Eagle Has Fallen is that episode.
No, Angel Has Fallen. That's Gerard Butler. That's not.
That's Gerard
I'm
Butler,
mixing up
Russell
my
Crowe.
actors. I take that all back.
Same guy. Let's be honest.
He'll
Same
kick
guy.
my ass for saying that then.
I think Russell Crowe's just going to kick all of our asses.
Okay. Well,
That's
That's
all
cool.
right.
Probably.
What a badge of honor.
Badge of honor beating up Russell
If he can get up. If he can get off his ass and come over here.
Aside from that, you can find us basically at everywhere, wherever you listen to audio. We're also on cinemapsychoshow.com. I forgot to mention that because you guys got me going about the Russell Crowe thing.
Sorry.
No, it's cool. Drop us an email at cinemapsychoshow.com. Listen to us wherever you get your audio, and we will see you next time.
Okay, guys, this is usually right at the end of the show. I usually say something completely meandering or pointless, but I think that this might be an opportunity for us right now to do something that's nice, but it'll also be fun because it'll probably embarrass the shit out of him. We're recording this on September 3rd, so if you gentlemen will join me in a rendition of Happy Birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Brian Connington of the Cinema Psycho Show.
That too.
that guy.
Happy birthday
To
you. And many
Happy
more.
fucking birthday to you, you bastard.
Thanks.